Where do you want to start? You go ahead and start.
You know, I was, thinking about things, and we kind of hit on this. We were talking in the back, just about COVID, how life has changed because of COVID. And I think for us, especially in the ministry, it was, how do we pivot? How do we adjust to life with COVID, right? Because it's still here. Like,
it's still,
I know it's died down, but it is still here, right? And so, we had to make some big adjustments. Our population at our church is primarily a senior population. And so when COVID hit, none of our seniors were coming out, and we said, well, what can we do? We need to do something. We still need to get the word to them. We still need to encourage them. And so we began to pivot and stream online and do different things daily, different types of activities daily online, so people can feel connected. Because to your point, we were talking about feeling isolated, feeling depressed. When COVID hit, it changed everything. And we were just like, what do we do? And for a lot of people we talked to, it was, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling alone, I'm feeling like it's so uncertain, I don't know what to do. So we had to infuse hope. And so as much as we could, it was putting out programs, putting out things just to connect people. And it really is on our toes, like, okay, what can we do next, right? Thinking of the next big thing to keep people interested, right?
So how effective was that?
At first, it changes something, right? Change is something that you have to give some people time to adjust to. Some people can embrace it quickly. Others, they come kicking and screaming, right? And so there was changes we had to make. We decided to go to 2 services. We traditionally had 1 service, and people are like, well, we need to spread around more. We don't want to be that close to people. We want more than 6 feet. So we went to a 2nd service. So it was just those things. But it's taxing, right? Because now you have to have your musicians there for 2 services. You have to have, people lined up to minister the word. And so just a lot of extra things that we had to do. And it was a time of sacrifice, for sure.
And I think a lot of the senior crowd especially was so afraid. And it just felt like it separated families so much. And even with my own family, and I lost my dad during COVID, and it just seemed like our family was so separated, and you couldn't even be together. And when my dad passed away, at that time it was a lot worse because it was in 21. Now it's gotten a little bit freer with hospitals and things like that. But even when you lost a loved one, you had to find the closest window to be near them. And that was all I could do with my dad. And so I understand in ministry, because I do ministry, it just felt so separated.
For sure.
And so the older community especially, and I understand because a lot of older people passed away, but they were so afraid.
For sure.
And so with the church, I could see what you're saying, especially with an older crowd.
Definitely.
It's very rough.
Did you do a lot with social media then? Because I know a lot of churches did.
That was good.
We did. We went to social media. We beefed up our teleconferences where we would meet online on the phone, because the seniors, they'll get on the phone call and
they like that.
Kind of just talk and conversate. Not necessarily about service, it's just about life, right? How you doing? Like, how you making it? Like, what's going on with you? Just trying to stay connected that way, because to your point, there was so much isolation. It was just different.
It was very.
I was going to ask about social media with the seniors. But then you did mention the phones. So did you have more on the phones, or were the seniors savvy enough technologically to access services and programs via social media?
It was a mixed bag, because a lot of the seniors are like, I don't have a cell phone, right? Like we have seniors that's still active that are like 85 and 90. And so they're like, I don't know how to get on an app to get onto Facebook. What are you talking about? And so we were like, well, we just have to open a phone line for them, right? Because they're not going to get on social media. So there were things we had to just do on the fly to adjust, to accommodate evereveryone. And that meant different things.
I don't know if any of you girls have ever went through depression, but I think all women do at some point. But, when it gets to where you don't want to live and but yes, to answer your question, it just, it did come back a little bit, but I think because of all the COVID things, and everybody was depressed at the time, and then losing my father.
Well, everybody had to deal with that.
Everybody had to deal with that.
Lack of being able to be around friends, or the kids that... And you did hear about so much about depression during that time. Didn't you at one time deal with it and talk about how you came out of it?
Some years ago, it was just awful, and it was just a matter of, sometimes I literally would hold my nose this way
to breathe. It seemed,
Yes.
things just
Feels like something sitting on your
kind of
chest.
set on, like you're going to
Yes.
drown in it. But
Like you're going to drown.
But it's so amazing.
Yeah.
One thing that I learned is that continually staying, for me, what happened for me is continually staying before the Lord.
Absolutely.
And I remember my family was up watching, in the loft watching television, and I was so heavy, I just wanted to go lay down. And so I was heading to the bedroom, pull the shades down, and get in bed, and it just do the opposite of that. Don't do that. Turn around.
Yes.
So when I turned around, I could almost literally feel it falling off me because I did not go up
Right.
into where it was pushing me.
Yep.
But anyway, to cut a long story short, it didn't end there, but it did end at a point
Yeah.
where the Lord, at the point, as long as I hold on, that's what I say to
Right.
people, as long as you hold on and keep going after God, you're going to get to a point
Absolutely. Yes.
where God will break that yoke for you, and He did for me. And since it's not
Yes.
my program, I'm going to go into the whole thing.
I know. Yeah, that's great though.
But I did want to ask you, though, about the seniors. Did you have to deal with a lot of people dealing with depression?
Yes.
Yeah, it was difficult because, like I said, we have a lot of older seniors, and seniors, we can put a number of, like some people say 60 or whatever, but like I said, we have a lot of 80, 90-year-old seniors in our church, and a lot of them live alone. A lot of them don't have relatives that's nearby, and so being able to come to the church, because not only for service, we would have the church open and available for different other things, and so seniors would just come to the building just to be out the house, right? The seniors gathered there a lot. They had a ministry where they would just come together. They may go on a picnic. They may come to the church and just hang out. And so because of that being disturbed because of COVID, we did have a lot of seniors feeling hopeless. And so just being able to just send them a message, whether it be, some of them, we sent cards in the mail so that they can have something tangible to hold and read, to give them hope. We called some on the phone, right? Try different methods just to keep them engaged, to let them know that someone is here for you.
Right.
Because I think a lot of times, senior population, we heard a lot, they said, well, we just don't want to be a burden to anyone,
My
right?
mom
They feel
says
like
that
a burden.
all the time.
And it hurts your heart.
Even in normal
hurts your heart.
circumstances, other than just COVID. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, for sure. And that's the thing. It's like just making them feel like, one thing that we wanted to do for them is we would have appreciations for them to say, you all have done so much, right? You've been involved in the ministries so long. Now it's your time to just enjoy
that's so
and
awesome.
be celebrated.
Yes.
And so some of those things were the things that helped to lift them and keep them motivated.
Yeah, and I think a lot of churches don't think about they really need to dote on the older people sometimes because they do feel lost. They feel like now that they're older and they have no place or no purpose.
Yep.
And so I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And we always say, as long as you have breath in your body, you have purpose, right?
Absolutely.
You may not be able to get out on the streets and evangelize like you used to, but you can pick up the phone and call someone and pray with them, right? You still have purpose. So don't think just because you're 80, there's nothing for you to do.
Right, and I still learn from the older people. We can learn every day. They've walked through things I've never walked through yet.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, if we watch them, we can actually learn, keep learning from them. So that's awesome.
For sure. Yeah.
Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the video. To see more like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button below, get all the latest content from TCT Ministries. We'd love to pray alongside you for God's blessings in your life, so you can email your prayer requests to prayer@tct.tv or click the link below and submit your request at tct.tv. God bless you and thank you for watching.